What's going on, guys? ScotianCanadien here, and since my last video, the Montreal Canadiens have been defeated by the Colorado Avalanche, and they have beaten the Arizona Coyotes, which puts their record to 13-5 on the season, good enough for the second wildcard spot. They're 1 point behind Boston, who have a game in hand in that first wildcard spot. So let's talk about both of these games here. First up, against Colorado, and Nathan MacKinnon, former Halifax Moosehead and Memorial Cup champion, with Jonathan Drouin. Those were the days. Those were some fun days at the Halifax Metro Center, watching those two beauties light the lamp every night, putting up multi-point games, and then going on that amazing playoff run where they won the President's Cup and then won the Memorial Championship. So, yeah, good memories back in the day. So first up, we get Gallagher on the power play. Finally, Montreal gets a power play goal, breaking that drought. What a brutal drought that was, but Gallagher breaks it with a tip-in power play goal. Shortly after that, we get Rantanen from MacKinnon, and this is that play where Price really screwed up and played it right to MacKinnon, but heads-up play from MacKinnon. Instead of shooting, he passes it over to Rantanen, who basically gets a shot at an empty net from the slot. And who's not going to bury that one? Let alone Mikko Rantanen. So, yeah, really bad mistake from Carey Price there. But he has bailed us out way more times than he has cost us anything. Carey Price has been incredible this year. Honestly, you just got to give him that one. It is what it is. That's a moment where you'd like to see his team bail him out. Unfortunately, they did not. They couldn't score more than one goal against the Colorado Avalanche. But it is what it is. Then we get Landeskog from MacKinnon and Rantanen again. And, yeah, this one was the one that was challenge for goaltender interference. It did not end up getting called back. It counted as a goal. A lot of Habs fans are pissed off about this. But you know what? I'm one of these guys that wants to see more goals in the NHL, just like everyone else. And that's what the league wants. And to me, on that play, there might have been some very minimal contact just inside the crease, but I don't really think it was enough to impede Price from making the save. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Price could have smothered that puck if Landeskog wasn't up in his grill. But it is what it is, and that's not the reason why the Montreal Canadiens lost the game. They had 60 minutes to score more than one goal, and they could not accomplish that on Philip Grubauer, who played very well for the Colorado Avalanche. So, yeah, frustrating, but the Montreal Canadiens players could have done better in terms of finishing. They played very well. They forechecked hard. Guys like Lehkonen and Shaw were playing fantastic forechecking. Kotkaniemi was all over the ice against Colorado. He is a fantastic skater. Coming into the season, and when he was drafted, it was said that skating was possibly his weakness. I personally didn't see it back then. From all the highlight packages I was watching, he was just very good on his edges, very good at manipulating time and space to open up lanes, and that's what he's doing in the NHL at 18 years old. It's incredibly impressive. The amount of ice that he can cover in a short amount of time is unreal. He'll be down in the defensive zone, recovering pucks down in the corner, and then all of a sudden he's up the ice in scoring position, ready to finish a play. Or skating up the ice, he'll see open ice that he can exploit and skate into, and he will do it. He is confident, and it's continuing to improve with him. He is a very impressive young man as a hockey player. Price played really well against the Colorado Avalanche. Another reason why his mistake really didn't frustrate me a whole lot, because he was just on his game, trying to get that 300th win, and unfortunately, he could not do it against the Avalanche. Shea Weber as well. The guy is so vicious. He is scary out there. He just beats guys up as they're trying to enter in the zone. He angles guys as they're skating up the ice, trying to enter the offensive zone. Weber just angles them into the boards. They can't get into the middle of the ice on Shea Weber. He angles them towards the boards, and a lot of the time, he'll end up crushing them after they dump the puck in. He'll sneak in a cross-check. He's nasty. And then behind the net, same thing. He sneaks in these cross-checks front of the net as well. He is positionally sound all the time. His gap control is so impressive. He protects that front of the net. Game in and game out, he is so consistent when it comes to his defensive play. It's so fun to watch. Mike Riley, I think is playing very well, skating well, pinching in the offensive zone, getting zone entries, utilizing his speed to make plays, and I really like him in the lineup. He's had some defensive gaffes, some mistakes here and there, not too many bad ones, but he's also had some very good defensive plays, splitting up 2-on-1s and stuff like that. So to me, he's got to stay in the lineup, and I'm glad that he has been in the lineup for a few straight games now, despite the odd little mistake. It's the right thing to do because he offers too much offensively to be pulling him in and out of the lineup. Byron against the Avalanche played great on the penalty kill, skating hard, breaking up plays, and he was just great all game in all aspects. Byron, very impressive player. So then last night we have Max Domi's return to Arizona and Galchenyuk's first time playing the Montreal Canadiens since that trade occurred. If you haven't seen my review of that trade, feel free to go back in time and take a look at that. The Montreal Canadiens defeat them 2-1 thanks to a nasty Weber clap bomb from the point on the power play. Again, they get a goddamn power play goal. Woo! It's fantastic. Shortly after that, Ekman Larsson gets one back for the Arizona Coyotes, and then early in the third period, Paul Byron finishes off a play from Phillip Danault and Andrew Shaw to make it 2-1, and the Montreal Canadiens hang on to get that lead. Now, they were outshot against the Arizona Coyotes, 37-28. Power play 1 for 3, PK 3 for 4. The PK has continued to be very well as of late. Outside of that one goal they allowed last night, they were 0 for 4 against Colorado, 3 for 4 against the Arizona Coyotes. Now to start here, I thought Alex Galchenyuk played a very good game, especially on the power play. He is a very, very good power play player, and that showed last night. He was moving the puck very well for the Arizona Coyotes. I thought he put in a pretty good effort all around last night against his former team. So that was kind of nice to see. Domi also played very well for Montreal. Did not get on the score sheet. Kind of overthought a couple plays, I think. There was one where he had a really good chance in front of the net, in front of Darcy Kemper. Couldn't quite bury it. And then on that empty net towards the end of the game, couldn't bury that one. But he played very well all around. Would like to see a little bit more production out of him and Drouin lately, though. Drouin does have a couple assists in the last game, both on the power play, which is nice to see, but the 5-on-5 play of Domi and Drouin has dipped just a little bit, so hopefully they can start dominating like they were earlier on in the season. The return video for Domi was a little bit pathetic. Mind you, he only played for them for a few seasons, so it's not like they really needed to do anything overly special, but through the whole commercial break, I guess they didn't do anything, and then right before the puck drop, they just came up on the board and said, "Hey, Max was a fan favorite here. Welcome back." And that was it. Max didn't really seem to give a shit. He didn't look impressed at all. Victor Methot has been playing fantastic for Montreal since his call-up. Very good skater. He's using his speed and skating ability in all different aspects, but specifically defensively. Breaking up plays, using his active stick and skating speed to break up plays. And he's also getting involved in the offense, trying to find shooting lanes and shooting the puck more often. He's had a few different scoring chances already in just a few games he's played for Montreal, so that is fantastic to see. Tatar, lately, the last few games, it's like he's almost trying to do a little too much, trying to just outskill guys, and instead of just working, making the simple play, it's like he's just trying to do just a little too much and is off his game right now and is not producing because of it. I honestly would not be surprised if he continues to play this way. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be a healthy scratch sometime in the next week or two. So keep an eye out for that. I just have a sneaking suspicion that he needs to get his game back on track, and the coaches are probably noticing it too, that he's just doing a little bit too much out there, or trying to anyway. Later on in the game, we saw some line juggling from Claude Julien, and we finally got to see Kotkaniemi with some different line mates. Played with Tatar for a little bit, and he played with Andrew Shaw. Looked pretty decent. Kotkaniemi again against the Coyotes, played very well. Same thing as in the Colorado game, using his great skating and vision to make plays, find open lanes to skate into, and get into scoring areas. It's hard to believe he's 18-year-old. He had a really good hit too in the first period on I can't remember who it was, Chikrin or Lawson Krause or something, but it was a very nice hit behind the net in the offensive zone. You got to really remind yourself this kid's 18 years old, because he plays like he is a veteran, and he is only going to get so much better. Man. We also saw Gallagher with Domis Return, which looked pretty good in the third period. Michael Chaput played a very good game, winning face-offs, forechecking hard as he always does. Kenny Agostino as well. Him and Chaput have some very good chemistry on the forecheck. They generate offensive zone time all of the time. They're just always in the offensive zone, working hard, grinding. And another thing I noticed is that fourth line consistently plays with Montreal's first D pair with Weber. If you see the fourth line on the ice, it's likely Weber will be on the ice as well. So yeah, I don't know exactly why that is. Maybe they don't trust that line not to allow scoring chances, or maybe they just think that Kenny Agostino and Chaput are going to gather pucks down low and then feed it to Weber, who can then get a shot on net. But yeah, it happens quite often. It would be more interesting to see Shea Weber getting some more ice time with Domi and Drouin, because those are the guys who are really going to open up some space up high for Shea Weber. So Schlemko, I got a love-hate relationship with David Schlemko. The guy looks fantastic some nights, and then some of the plays he makes are absolute dog shit. But for the most part, the last few weeks, David Schlemko has been very impressive out there. Being a bit physical, retrieving pucks, keeping pucks in on the blue line when they're in the offensive zone, getting shots on net. I really don't have many bad things to say about him lately, out of the odd defensive laps where he gets beat. Like, for example, last night he got beat really bad against Colorado. One of the, I can't remember who it was, but one of the Avs players skating down the ice basically ended up on a breakaway because Schlemko couldn't keep up. But Victor Methot came out of nowhere and broke up the play with his speed. He gained like 4 or 5 strides on Schlemko, like right around from the blue line on. Unreal. That above view of that play was crazy, how Methot cut that off so quickly. And the Avs player was a little too relaxed on the play because he figured he had Schlemko completely beat in the first place. So good on Methot making that play. And so Montreal's power play has 2 goals in the last 2 games. Now, despite that, they're still not really playing that well on the power play. The zone entries are still an issue. Holding pressure in the O-zone is still an issue. They've gotten a little bit of sustained pressure, but it's been from power play line number 2. Power play line number 2, which consists of Tatar, Kotkaniemi, who else is out there? David Schlemko, Riley, looks better. It looks better than the first power play unit. So they generate more ozone time than the first unit. Mind you, the first unit has had both power play goals in the last 2 games, but both of those goals, if I'm not mistaken, came right off the face-off. So they won the face-off and get a goal right after that. But power play 2 can actually get in the zone and sustain pressure more so than that first power play unit. So they still have a lot of work to do on that power play before we should be happy with it. So a question in the comments from my last video was from a good friend of mine, childhood friend, Adam Denny. He's a huge Boston Bruins fan, so I feel like he was just asking this question just to rub it in after Montreal lost to the Boston Bruins. But he asked the question, do you think the Montreal Canadiens are a playoff team? And I do think they've already proven that they are capable of being a team that can make the playoffs. They've already overachieved on expectations. Prior to the season, I predicted Montreal could finish 3rd in the Atlantic Division. And where they sit in the Atlantic Division right now, that is still possible. So they've already proven that they are capable of it. Now, will they actually do it? I don't know. Their record against the Atlantic Division isn't very good outside of when they play the Ottawa Senators. They've lost a couple games to the Bruins. They've lost 3 games to the Buffalo Sabres. So it'll be very hard for Montreal to finish in that top 3 in the Atlantic Division. It's still definitely possible, but they squeak out a wild card spot. But they're in competition for that spot with teams like Pittsburgh, the Islanders, Philadelphia. I think Pittsburgh is probably, well, Pittsburgh obviously is a better team than the Habs. I think the Habs are a better team than Philly and a better team than the Islanders. So hopefully they can squeeze it out and get that last wild card spot. Unless they can somehow pass the Bruins in the standings and get that first wild card spot. So I do think they are a playoff team, but yeah, it's still going to be a tough road ahead for them to make it. So, guys, if you like my videos, please subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at ScotianCanadien. Let me know what you thought of the last 2 games in the comments. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'll try to answer them at the end of my next video. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go! Woo!